Now, a general insurance business will again try to focus upon reducing the loss factor and bring back the business to normality. The life of an asset can be saved by the general insurance. Physical loss to the goods, to the shop, to the entity altogether. What does an insurance typically try to do is minimize that loss. Good morning and welcome to the first session on principles and practice of general insurance, where we are going to talk about the introduction to general insurance. Definition of the general insurance, where we are going to talk about insurance as in the broad terms. So whenever we talk about this insurance, the first thing that comes to your mind is always life insurance. But here we need to understand insurance in broad terms may be described as a method of sharing financial losses from a common fund that are equally exposed to the same loss. Now, in general insurance, we are not going to talk about life, but we are going to talk about all other kinds of insurance other than the life insurance. So whenever you look at these companies like HDFC Ergo, the National Insurance, the General Insurance Company, Tata AIG, or you're going to talk about the IFCO Tokyo Insurance, all these kind of insurances are one which are trying to cater into the general insurance business altogether. Now, a general insurance business will again try to focus upon reducing the loss factor and bring back the business to normality. Now, insurance is defined as an equitable transfer of risk of a loss from one entity to another in exchange for a premium, and can be thought of a guaranteed small loss to prevent a large, possibly devastating loss. Now, one thing in business that we need to understand is the word called as uncertainty. Why does this happen altogether? Many a times we ask this question, sir, is that something that is really going to put us into trouble? The answer is definitely yes. Why? Because there are different forces of nature that can come and create problem altogether. So suppose there is a fire, an earthquake, or a cyclonic storm, or all of a sudden there is going to be a tsunami that's going to come and devastate. Yes, the business needs to be ready. But in that situation, whom can you go back and fall? From where you can go and start looking into for a support. Who is that person who is going to give you a backup? And the answer to that is the general insurance. So that's where you need to go back and you need to start answering this from a general insurance standpoint. So general insurance is definitely going to be a very big thing that we need to look in terms of falling back during any kind of emergencies and exigencies coming into picture. Now, when we talk about this word called as loss, there is definitely a loss that is from the accounting cycle, and there is a loss from the physical activities that happen around us. So when there is a physical loss to the goods, to the shop, to the entity altogether, what does an insurance typically try to do is minimize that loss. There is no point in maximizing loss and going further, but there is a way in minimizing this loss and getting the things back into picture. So definitely when we are talking about that minimization, we are bringing into picture the factors called as the general insurance. Now, moving further, what is the other form of general insurance? We are going to start with fire insurance, which is one of the biggest forms of general insurance. So what is exactly fire insurance? A fire insurance is a contract under which the insurer, in return for a consideration, premium. You are going to learn this word called as premium. Please keep in your mind, premium is something that you are going to pay either annually or monthly or quarterly or half-yearly, which is going to be your return to the company, for which the company says that any kind of loss that happens because of fire, we are going to cover you. So as you see here, if a fire breaks out in a company because of which there can be hundreds and thousands of dollars or even millions of dollars at loss, So for the premium that you are paying to the company, to the general insurance company, they are offering you a package, they are offering you a promise that they will cover you in terms of a fire breakout. So this is very, very important form of general insurance, and this is one of the common eventualities that can happen to any kind of industry. This is not restricted only for a chemical industry or for an oil industry. Of course, they have got a higher exposure altogether, but then even for a normal IT industry or for a banking financial services, there can be a fire breakout and you need to protect yourself and your business from it. So that's why fire insurance plays a very, very important part in the general insurance category. Moving further, we have marine insurance, which is another form of it. Now, marine insurance is something where we are going to talk about shipping. Now, right from the movie Titanic onwards, everybody is worried about what will happen to the ship. Because shipping is one of the most exciting business that you can talk about, but then the amount of risk that is involved in terms of trading across the seas is very, very high. So always understand that marine insurance is one of the form of general insurance which has been of late most sorted. Now, the marine insurance is something that you need to look forward, which tries to cover all the loss and damage while the transportation happens by the, in terms of sea or air. Why? Because marine insurance has got all kind of inbuilt. You would have seen that there is an aviation from the Navy itself. There is a transportation that is involved. All those factors are there. This is one of the most complicated form of general insurance, but yes, it has a very, very thriving business, and there are a lot of companies in India these days who are getting into the marine insurance business. Followed by the scope of this is all about the inland transit, the export and import, because marine insurance is more about the export-import factor. So you will see the general insurance coming in form of the transportation, that is both in the import and the export factors. Followed by the description of the general insurance that we are going to talk about. The tangible assets are susceptible to damages and they need to be protected for the economic value of the asset. Now, this is very, very important. Now, for this purpose, general insurance is being bought. Every goods or services will have an economic value. Now, you cannot deny that economic value because there is some value that is involved in your goods and services which cannot be apparently calculated and just written down on the paper. There is a whole lot of calculation that is involved. There's a whole lot of process that is involved. Suppose something happens to this goods and services, the general insurance comes in and they provide a protection for all the unforeseen certain situations that have taken place or the unforeseen damages that are going to take place. So that is why I say that the life of an asset can be saved by the general insurance. This is very, very important for all of us. Followed by, like the life insurance, the general insurance product also come at a price in the form of premium. So for general insurance also, like the life insurance, you are going to pay a premium and this premium is going to be looked into. This is very, very important here. So this is how you are going to look into the aspects of the general insurance. So for every premium you pay, there is a protection plan, and that protection plan is being guaranteed to you in case of any emergencies and exigencies that come across. Followed by the group policy. What is a group policy? Now, for example, there are many multinational companies that are available in our country. Each of these multinational companies will have their own levels of existence, business, and so many other factors. Now, what do we mean by those factors? What do we mean by saying that these multinationals exist in terms of the business activity? The reason is that when you look into these multinationals, the nature and scope of operations will differ from people to people. That is one thing that you have to understand and keep in mind. So now what happens is that the company will take insurance on its behalf. So that's why group policy provides a coverage to the group of people who are in the professional, like employee-employer kind of thing, in an informal factor altogether. So this is for the entire company, and this includes all the factors of the working organization. Now, the nature and scope of the organization matters to a great extent in terms of general insurance. Now, for a company like Serum Institute, which recently had a problem where a fire broke out in one of its plants, again, it's because of the nature of the business, because they are involved in chemicals, they are involved in drugs, they are involved in production of life-saving drugs. So all those factors are involved in that. So definitely there would be some problem altogether. Now, if the nature of the company is more involved in terms of software, so they have a kind of exposure risk altogether. So based on that, there is a group policy which is being designed, and that group policy is enacted for them. So this is why it is very, very important for all of us to understand. Followed by, we also talk about the guaranteed interest plan in general insurance. Now, what is a guaranteed interest plan? These are the insurance plans which assure the insurer a guaranteed rate of interest for a specific fixed period time of the policy. Now, insurance policies can also be in general insurance where you can have your amount deposited, and there you will get a fixed rate of interest kind of thing, just like a fixed deposit. The insurance company take care of it, and in case, God forbid, nothing happens to your company, nothing goes wrong in the next 10 years or 15, 20 years, you will definitely get a rate of return for the amount that is being deposited with the company. So overall, when you see the general insurance, there are many types like the fire, the marine, or when we talk about motor insurance, or when we talk about theft insurance, burglary insurance, when we start talking about insurances that are related to different aspects other than the life, the general insurance covers a whole lot of gamut of activities. Now, insurance, as we keep talking about, it is a subject matter of solicitation. So it's very, very important that you understand under which terms, under what conditions the insurance is being provided to you. It is not that general insurance, you can claim it as and when you want. There are a lot of terms and conditions. There are a lot of factors one has to go through and then sign up upon the insurance. So with this, I come to the end of the first session on general insurance, the basic introduction and the factors. In the upcoming session, we will be talking more about the insurance, the evolution of insurance, how it has happened, what is the general insurance scenario in India, the whole lot of history and development about it. Until then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay enlightened forever. Thank you once again for joining me today on this wonderful session.